Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. It's time to review another horror movie review, and this comes recommended from my good friend Lee McCoy as he saw The Empty Man, and so I'm going to take a look at The Empty Man. Now, The Empty Man is a 2020 supernatural horror thriller film. It was written and directed by David Pryor and is based upon the graphic novel of the same name by Brad Cullen Bunn and Vanessa Del Rey. Now, the film stars James Badge Dale, Marin Island, Sasha Folovo, and Samantha Logan. Now, in this particular film, on the trail of a missing girl, an ex-cop comes across a secretive group attempting to summon a terrifying supernatural enemies so they can rule the world. Yeah, sounds like a bad guy, don't I? Now, I remember watching the trailer for this movie, and the story reminds me of that terrible horror movie, The Bye Bye Man. Oh, God. Now, you have a group of young people who are after being told not to, summon an entity, and then bad shit happens to them. It's typical of what we saw in The Bye Bye Man, and something similar is supposed to be happening in this movie. Again, this is based upon the trailer that I saw. This is how they were marketing The Empty Man. Now, I believe my good friend Emma Spooky Astronauts recommended this film, and it seems that YouTube movie reviewer Chris Stuckman believed this movie needs to be talked about. I mean, now of course I have not seen his review of The Empty Man because I have a written rule: I don't watch movie reviewers on YouTube until I actually have seen the movie myself and I reviewed it and I put my review up because it lets me put my own words and thoughts and what I thought of the movie and not try to copy off of anyone else's review. That's why I have not seen his review, but this is what I've seen based upon Lee McCoy's post on Facebook and Killerflix about how he saw the movie based upon Chris Stuckman's recommendation. He enjoyed it. So I told him, and I did last night, I decided to take a chance and watch The Empty Man, and I must say that I was very impressed with what I saw. Now, after a very lengthy opening where we see four friends take their adventure hiking on Bhutan and it turns into a real disaster, we're introduced to a character named James La Sombra. Now, James is an ex-cop who's dealing with a terrible loss when he's asked by his friend Nora to find her missing daughter, Amanda. During his investigation, he learns that Amanda and her friends tried to summon the local legend called the Empty Man. You know, it's some type of a game they play where you on the crossover bridge, you blow into this bottle or whistle, and you just repeat the empty man, the empty man, the empty man, and some weird shit's supposed to happen. It's like one day he does something this, the second day he does this, and the third day he does that. That's basically what the legend is, and of course, bad shit happens to them. Now, as James continues to search for Amanda, he is drawn deeper into the secret world that he cannot tell the difference between reality and imagination. Yes, his world is now totally screwed up. Now, I will have to get credit for writer-director David Pryor for this story and film that he has given us here. Now, he could have taken the easy route and make this film similar to other horror movies with a similar story and setting. You know, to have teenagers, uninteresting characters, with the same cliche storyline, the same cliche characters, and just done something similar to The Bye Bye Man or any other horror film with the same setting, even such as Ouija or any other of these teen PG horror flicks. Even Wish Upon has that same similar setup as this one. However, instead, he's given us a very intriguing story with interesting characters and a creepy cult with an unusual purpose. I like that. I like when writers and directors of horror movies try to do something different instead of the same old crap that we've seen before. Now, one thing Pryor does good is with the pacing with the film. He allows the audience to see what James is experiencing, and the creepy imaging that he sees is great in creating the atmosphere that's needed for this type of film. If you're going to do something different, then you want to have the pacing done so that way it creates a type of atmosphere, and you have spooky imagery, especially in the beginning of the film and right during the middle of I would say during the second and third acts of the films, with that creepy ass cult and some of the creepy images James sees in this particular film. That's a great setup, and I like the atmosphere he creates, the tension that he creates. I thought Pryor did a good job in doing that. Now, actor James Badge Dale of 24 fame is good as the gruff La Sombra. You can tell he's still suffering from the terrible events that happened to him, and the film gives out several hints before it reveals what that is to the audience. Now, despite his gruff nature, he's a good natural man, and he seems to be on some type of redemption as he puts himself in danger time and time and again for a search for Amanda. You would think that after some of the events he sees and some of the he's witnessing and some of the creepy events that he goes through, some of the secrets that he finds out between the kids and the cult that he's investigating, you would think he says, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore. This shit's too crazy. I'm done. But he continues, and the more he continues with it, the more secrets he reveals, the more craziness he gets into this world that he's finding himself in. And that's one thing I liked about the character and how Pryor combines all that stuff in the film. Now, Pryor doesn't rely on cheap jump scares when it comes to horror in this film. He does it subtly. There are some instances in the film where we think that it could be kind of like nightmarish scenes, and I like the fact that he simply just relies on the darkness settings in the film. A lot of people may not like it because they want to see monsters, they want to see ghosts and blood and gore, but Pryor doesn't do that. But it still gives enough tension in the film to make all those scenes look creepy. And of course, that relies on his direction and of course Dale's acting. Because sometimes it's what we don't see at times is what gives the film the suspense that I wish, and I'm pretty sure other people wish most horror movies would have. Just because we don't see blood or we don't see gore, we don't see ghosts and people getting their heads chopped off, doesn't mean that doesn't make for a good horror film. When you build the tension and suspense, I think that's why such movies like Psycho work well, and this works well too, is because of the character development, the mystery behind the cult, and the mystery behind who the Empty Man is and what's the purpose of the cult and what they want to do with the Empty Man. I think that's what makes this film such a good horror movie. Now, of course, I will believe that the average horror movie fan will not like this film, as most of the kills do happen off screen, and except for the opening, there's very little blood or gore in this particular film. Those people who like their slasher films or like something that's too intelligent, they're not going to like this film. Some people might call this boring and uneducating, and there might be some gaps in the film, right? But I didn't find any. But I know that even though I did enjoy the film and I liked the film, I can tell right now most horror fans are probably not going to like this one. Consider it, I don't think it's like say with Hereditary or Midsummer. It's more like with the Babadook. That's what I'm going to compare this one, because a lot of people wanted to expect a creature in the Babadook, but they didn't get that. And this film kind of reminds me of the Babadook. Again, it's probably how they decided to market this film. And I thought it was kind of a bit misleading, because I thought that when I saw the trailer that it was going to be nothing but a bunch of teenage young people doing stupid stuff and not paying attention and characters we don't care about. So totally different film. And I really like to thank David Pryor for creating something totally different. So thanks for some decent acting from James Bates Dale, and some creative writing and direction from Pryor. We have a very creepy and imaginary horror film, and definitely with an ending that will creep you out. Because that ending, I've seen creepy endings in horror films, but this one is creepy. Not the best creepy horror film ending that I've seen, but it'll definitely creep you out, and I'm not joking. So I'm going to give The Empty Man 3 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Giving it 3 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Well, looks like you got yourself a winner here. And if Chris Stuckman ever watches this review, you got another fan here. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to try their best who might enjoy this horror film to push this out. And again, not every horror film is going to like this film. I'm telling you right now. But as for this horror fan, I did enjoy it because I like to see something different. And as long as it actually fits the type of horror film that I like to see, other than the typical stuff that we've seen before in horror films, I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed The Empty Man. So, my horror fans, for those of you who might have seen the The Empty Man, what did you think about it? Did you think this was an intriguing horror film, or did you just found this boring? Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about The Empty Man. And so there, that's my video for the day, guys. So if you did enjoy it, if you did, please give it a thumbs up, because it does help the channel out a lot, especially with that YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.